There is a kind of discipline that does not roar, does not flex, does not announce itself to the world. It stands like a shadowed mountain, immovable, intimidating, older than your excuses and quieter than your thoughts. You feel it before you understand it, the way you sense a storm long before the. This is the discipline that unnerves people because it cannot be seen, only felt. And in a world addicted to noise, anything silent becomes terrifying. Most people chase motivation like thirsty men chasing mirages, sprinting toward illusions that vanish the moment they reach for them. But the ones who move differently, the ones who don't wait for motivation, they walk in a stillness that rattles the earth. Their discipline is not emotional. It is geological, ancient, patient, unyielding. Here lies the uncomfortable truth you keep running from. The scariest discipline is the kind that asks for no applause and fears no loneliness. It does not need to be witnessed. It does not require validation. It simply is. And deep beneath all your distractions, you know this. You feel it pressing against your potential, challenging you like a mirror that refuses to lie. The tension grows quietly, as if something inside you has started to awaken. Something you once buried, hoping you wouldn't have to face what you could become. But you're here now, and the mountain is waiting. Imagine a man who rises before the sun remembers to shine, not for an audience, not for praise, but because the ritual calls to him the way ancient drums once called warriors from their sleep. His mornings are not mornings, they are ceremonies. The cold floor greets his feet, the darkness wraps around him like a familiar cloak, and the world is still asleep when he begins shaping himself once again. He never negotiates with the dawn, he never bargains with comfort. There is no battle about getting up, because he decided long ago that his body would obey the code written in his mind. And so, every day he moves, every day he trains, every day he sharpens the blade no one else can see. People whisper behind him. They call him obsessed, extreme, isolated. They diagnose him because they cannot understand him. He hears them but never listens. They are speaking from a place he buried years ago, the place where excuses bloom and potential decays. Inside him, there is no pride about his routine, no drama, no self-congratulation. He does not see himself as strong. He sees himself as responsible, obedient to something larger, quieter, and far more demanding than desire. The truth they don't understand is this: he isn't extreme. He's free, free from the chaos others drown in, free from the emotional storms that pull weaker minds in every direction, free from the noise that rules most men's lives. He is the man who would not break, not because he is unbreakable, but because he learned how to bend without complaint. Today's world is built on shortcuts. People want the result without the weight, the victory without the wounds, the reward without the ritual. Comfort has become a religion, convenience its holy scripture. Everything is negotiable now: sleep, diet, habits, dreams. People bargain with their own destruction and call it balance. But the old world wasn't like this. The warriors who came before you trained in storms. They fasted through hunger. They honored vows the way modern men honor their excuses. Discipline wasn't a skill, it was a baseline. A man without discipline wasn't considered weak. He simply wasn't considered a man at all. And here you stand, caught between these two worlds. You feel the softness of modern life pulling you downward. Notifications, indulgences, cravings dressed as needs. Every impulse invites you to quit early. Every desire whispers that you deserve a break. This is where the discomfort begins, because part of you knows the truth. Your ancestors would not recognize the version of you that negotiates with every tiny resistance. They would see the potential in your eyes, but confusion in your actions. You have the fire, but not the container to hold it. So you find yourself pulled between the ease of today and the hardness of older standards. Discipline is not punishment. It is the language your blood remembers, the ancient path that once shaped warriors into something worthy of their breath. and deep down you feel the echo of it calling you back. Inside your mind lies a battlefield more dangerous than anything outside you. Desires flicker like campfires in the dark, moods shift like wind, and excuses dress themselves as logic, soft, persuasive, poisonous. Every day, this war wages quietly beneath your ribs, invisible to everyone but felt in every hesitation. Discipline is the sword you were meant to wield, not to punish yourself, but to cut through the fog that blinds you. Because the enemy has never been fatigue, it has never been time, it has never been circumstance. The enemy is the version of you that quits early, that folds under pressure, that seeks the path of least resistance. Most people believe disciplined men fight harder, but that is not the truth. They fight earlier. They confront resistance before it grows teeth. They slay the dragon while it is still small enough to hold in their hands. That's why they appear calm. That's why their discipline looks effortless. The war was won long before the day began. Look closely at the ones who seem unshakable. Their strength is not loud. It is not violent. It is quiet like loaded silence, dangerous because you sense something powerful beneath it. They know what you are still learning, that a man's life is determined not by the battles he chooses, but by those he refuses to postpone. And if you listen carefully, you'll hear your own war calling for resolution. There are rituals practiced by the unshakable, rituals that echo through centuries of men who refuse to betray themselves. They are not flashy, they do not trend, they do not impress the weak, but they build something inside you that the world cannot take away. Think of the cold morning, the moment your breath fogs the air, the world still half asleep, and you choose discomfort over softness. Think of the solitary training session where no eyes watch you, no applause waits for you, and you push simply because you said you would. Think of the silent study, the quiet reading, the self-imposed challenges that no one else will ever hear about. These are not tasks, they are ceremonies, small stones placed daily that slowly build the unbreakable wall within you. Consistency, not intensity, is what shapes a man. A river does not carve rock in a single strike. It reshapes mountains by touching them every day without fail. Over time, something strange happens. You stop asking yourself if you feel like doing the work. There is no feeling anymore, only identity. You do the work because you are the kind of man who does the work. The ritual becomes a truth, and the truth becomes a home. Meanwhile, the modern world obsesses over hacks, shortcuts, dopamine tricks. They chase speed, but speed means nothing without direction. Momentum means nothing without integrity. And while they scramble for the next easier option, you are laying another stone, and another, until one day you realize that you have become the quiet force they cannot understand, the man who moves like water and stands like stone. But do not mistake this path for something soft or romantic. There is a cost to becoming the man who cannot be shaken, a cost most people are unwilling to pay. It begins with loneliness, the kind that sits beside you as you grow, whispering reminders that the path you walk is not popular, not celebrated, not understood. The world around you rushes in different directions, chasing pleasure, praise, and distraction. You move alone, guided by something deeper. Then comes the death of the old self. The version of you that clung to comfort will fight to survive. It will beg, it will negotiate, it will make promises it cannot keep. And you will have to kill it again and again until its voice fades into silence. Your social circles may shift. People who once felt familiar may feel distant. Some will resent your changes. Others will mock them. A few will disappear entirely. This is part of the price. Growth rarely fits inside old rooms, and eventually you face the heaviest weight of all, responsibility. Once you master yourself, you lose the ability to lie to yourself. Every failure becomes your fault. Every weakness becomes a choice. There is no one left to blame. Yes, this path costs more than people expect, but it gives more than most can imagine. There comes a moment, quiet, almost unnoticeable, when something shifts. The rituals no longer feel like battles. The resistance no longer bites. The fog in your mind begins to clear, not because your life has become easier, but because you have become stronger. One morning, you look into the mirror and realize the boy is gone. The man has taken his place. Not a perfect man, not a flawless man, but a man who can trust himself. A man whose word means something, even when spoken only in his own mind. Confidence grows in strange ways, not from accolades or achievements, but from the simple knowing that you will show up, that you can count on yourself. That weakness no longer speaks as loudly as it once did. This is the moment discipline becomes peace. There are no more internal debates, no more negotiations with impulses that once ruled you. You move with quiet certainty, the way a river moves toward the ocean. Inevitable, calm, unstoppable. And this is where people begin to fear you. Not because you are aggressive, not because you are loud, but because you have become undeniable. A man who cannot be bought, distracted, or broken. That is the scariest discipline of all, the kind that transforms you into someone even your past self would not recognize. Now the path turns toward you. You have felt the softness inside your habits. You have seen how easily the world tempts you into weakness. You know that comfort has been slowly dulling your edges, making you forget the harder truth. Strength is earned where no one looks. The world fears the disciplined man because he is beyond their control. He cannot be pulled by trends or bent by pressure. His mind does not belong to the noise. It belongs to the silent force he built inside himself, day after day. So here is the quiet challenge laid at your feet. Take one step, one ritual, one promise you refuse to break. Let it be small, let it be humble, but let it be real. Because that is how every unshakable man begins, by defeating the weakest part of himself just once. Do this, and you will feel the shift. Do this, and you will wake something ancient inside you. Do this, and the mountain will begin to move. Remember this as you walk away. Strength is not built in the spotlight. It is forged in the hours where no one claps, no one sees, no one cares. And now the final question lingers in the air like a blade suspended above your destiny. What would your life look like if you stopped negotiating with yourself?